Hey guys, Nathan Jammal here, Director at O'Brien Palmer. Today I'm going to speak to you about the key factors that are driving directors to speak to me or seek consultation with our firm and the pressures that they're facing in 2025. I would say the biggest challenge that directors are currently facing is the aggressive stance that the ATO has now taken on recovery action against them. One thing I would like to point out, and as bizarre as it may sound, and I want to make that very clear right here, right now, is that the ATO does not take or accept the excuse that COVID is now a reason or an existing reason for you to seek insolvency advice or the reason for why your business is failing. That is incorrect, and they will not accept that as a valid reason for seeking advice or for the failure of your business. If your business is indebted to the ATO and that debt has accrued prior or during to COVID, then that is proof that you have not taken the steps to mitigate your financial circumstances and take the necessary steps to save your business in the current market conditions. The ATO has increased their recovery action, issuing approximately 84,000 DPNs in 2025, which is more than triple that of 2024. Audits, garnish sheet orders and wind-up applications have also increased, coupled with reporting to bureau agencies, which significantly affects businesses who rely on credit to operate their businesses. These intensified efforts by the ATO reflect a shift in pre-COVID leniency and a shift towards a business as usual approach moving forward. There are, however, many businesses out there that are compliant with their tax obligations and reporting, and they are faced with external economic and market conditions that are also affecting their businesses. Historically, we've gone through an increase in interest rates, which has led to mounting pressure on businesses on loans and repayments. Australia has seen a significant increase in operational costs, be it wages, cost of goods and materials, which has also put pressure on businesses to be able to pass on those increasing costs, particularly in the hospitality and construction industries, which then affects their bottom line and their inability to continue to operate or service their loans and ATO debts. So if you aren't already aware, the small business restructure regime has been very successful in the past 4 years. It has seen thousands of businesses be able to restructure their debts, in particular their debts with the ATO. In most cases, the ATO is the majority creditor. However, there has been a decline in approval rates where the ATO is the majority creditor, which also falls in line with the ATO's shift towards the business as usual approach. This has scared a lot of accounting firms and directors in seeking the small business restructure as an option. However, here at OBP, we've been able to liaise with key stakeholders, be it the ATO, creditors or governing bodies, to understand what position or where that shift needs to be in the small business restructure framework, so that we can provide those sorts of changes or options that are available so that we can achieve successful small business restructures in this ever-changing environment. In the last few years, there's been statistics that show that the ATO is the majority creditor in about 90% of SBRs, and financial year 23-24, they were approving approximately 95% of them, provided that the return was sort of within that 15 to 20% dividend rate. Now the ATO has shifted and wants some more information or a better understanding of the business and what steps businesses are taking to mitigate risk and solidify their operations to ensure that if they do go into an SBR or come out of an SBR, that they're going to continue to operate and comply with all their future obligations. So we've noticed that the dividend rate needs to increase at the moment. It's around the 25 to 26% mark at the moment, and I believe we've found a sweet spot there, whereas before it was around the 20-cent mark. So that advice that we're providing to directors, we're also notifying them that the ATO is looking into historically how the business has liaised with the ATO is now seeking a better understanding of the factors that have led to the director seeking advice or requiring the needs of a small business restructuring practitioner, so they can better understand what steps the director after the SBR is going to take to ensure that they don't end up in a similar position in the future. In my experience with accountants and directors, education is key, in my opinion. A lot of directors don't understand how a small business restructure or a liquidation or a voluntary administration works. And my personal approach, I believe, is very comforting, and it also helps the directors to understand that although this process is very daunting, we're here to help and we're here to sort of hold their hand and navigate them through this process. A particular scenario is a logistics company, a mum and dad out in Western Sydney. The husband's been a truckie all his life and they've grown the business and have half a dozen trucks on the road. Their debts spiraled out of control at approximately 300 grand. They didn't really understand the small business restructuring process. They came to OBP through an accounting firm. We've walked them through the whole process and started the SBR. During the SBR, there were a whole bunch of other creditors that have come out of the woodwork, namely finance companies, and that overall debt grew by about 20-30%. So the sweet spot of a 20-cent dividend all of a sudden decreased because it was diluted by the sort of increase in the debt pool of creditors. We managed to find a sweet spot in the dividend rate of about 26 cents. The directors didn't have the funds to satisfy a dividend up front, so we negotiated with the ATO to have that dividend repaid over a payment plan of about 6 months, and we were able to successfully get that SBR passed. And it's been a big help for that husband and wife, because if they didn't get that SBR approved, they were likely to lose their home. So that's a very good result for us. So there's been an increase in hospitality venues seeking advice in Western Sydney. And again, that goes on with the flow-on effect of the economic and market conditions, along with the aggressive stance that the ATO has taken on director penalty notices. And we've got a handful of cafes that are institutional cafes out west. Again, debts have sort of blown out to 300-400 grand with the ATO, and they've sought our advice on SBRs. We've addressed the issues that the ATO generally raises, where they want to understand the reasons why the business is in the position that it's in, and the necessary steps that are going to be taken moving forward should the ATO accept a compromise on their debt. And we've been able to successfully negotiate a 25-cent dividend to the ATO and a small body of creditors, which has allowed the cafe to continue to operate and serve local coffees and delights that everybody's grown up to love. Look, there may come a time where SBRs become redundant. People need to know that there are still the options that were always available prior to SBRs, whether it be a voluntary administration or a liquidation. VAs are again very effective in assisting a company or assisting businesses to restructure their debts. And we have come across a few of them in recent times where the SBR is not applicable because the debts are over $1 million, and the only option to restructure the debt and continue the operation of the business is via a voluntary administration and ultimately a deed of company arrangement, which gives the business the opportunity to have the business back and continue to operate with an overall debt compromise. And we're currently dealing with that with a few companies involved in the construction industry, where they're generational businesses. They've been around for decades, and yes, they've used the excuse that COVID has affected their business, but they ultimately haven't taken the necessary steps to mitigate the damage. And now they're in a position where an SBR is not an option, but the voluntary administration and ultimately a DOCA will help them to continue to operate their business. It's very important to know that as a director, it's your obligation to ensure that you understand your business and your liabilities, in particular your personal exposure in the event that you owe money to the ATO and are issued with a DPN or a wind-up application. Early intervention is the key, and here at OBP, we're only a phone call away to provide you with the many options available to you. Oh, I want to get out of the way. Yeah. I want to get out of the way and be done. Damn it! Damn it! Oh, come on!
No! No.
I can't do it. I can't do it when it's not honestly.
Can we just try it my way? Just try it my way.
Yeah. All right, fine. Damn it. All right, cool. Just keep going.
Yep.
Yep. Oh, sorry. I mean, that's not. We're not going to record that. But
no, what? Because you started doing it.
oh, shit, sorry. What do you mean? What do you want me to? What do you want me? What sort of touchy feely? Yeah.
It's perfect.
Done? No more? Yeah.
Actually,
I don't need that shit anymore.
I'm just going to get it out of the shot.
Oh, sorry. Oh, don't swear. Where's my line? Where's my one line? Where's my one liner? Don't tell me that.
That's perfect.
Okay, cool.